So is it time to buy or sell the Euro/Russian ruble currency pair? First off, read this disclaimer carefully and do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. So let's just jump into it. So here you have it. Euro/Russian ruble, 2.6% from the 52-week low, but a minus 13-ish percent pullback. So let's jump into the charts. This is the big picture, weekly data points. These time cycle, as you can see, they have been pretty good at calling the major gravitational pull for quite some time. We are still part of this declining phase. That is something we just have to respect. However, when these major phases have developed, there's been a tendency to have some kind of, head and shoulder-ish pattern, or a more rounding top-ish pattern. I think you can see that here. Let's draw it in. Let's get, the drawing tool. So here we have something that is messy, but more head and shoulder-ish. In this, you do have some head and shoulder-ish manifestations, but it also is a more rounding top-ish. In this current pattern, I think we more clearly have the potentiality to form a head and shoulders pattern. In order to form the right shoulder, we do need a bit of a rally. So that could be on the horizon. Obviously, that it's hypothetical. We do, however, see that, looking at last week, the buyers stepped in here. That's interesting. We see that previous times where the buyers have stepped in, we have a tendency to see some rally. This week we did have the bulls try to get up here. So there is the potentiality of a right shoulder being formed, which would, mean that we are going to have initially a rally, which would be, bullish for the euro. Looking here at, the daily data points, we are below all kinds of moving averages. So let's just instead look at, these other indicators. So looking at the current RSI, it is at an extremely low level. The previous times we were at a similar level was here, and then we did get a very big rally. Back here we had similar depressed RSI, and we did get a significant rally. Going back here as well, this depressed situation, we did get a rally. At least we did get a bounce. Distance from the green 50-week moving average and the purple 20-week moving average is also at levels that has triggered the bulls to step up in the past, very recently. Looking at the daily data points, RSI, and some of these PPOs, we are at levels that has a tendency to attract buyers, which corroborates the hypothesis that we are going to have a rally that, in the bigger picture, especially given that we have this major time cycle, it is most likely just going to form a right shoulder that then becomes, part of a big head and shoulders pattern, and the head and shoulders patterns are obviously not bullish. Looking at correlations, weekly data points, we have a 63% positive with the S&P 500, which represents America. 40% positive with the VGK, which is the European stock market ETF. 25% positive here with the Russia ETF, RSX, and minus 79% actually negative with the dollar index, so strongly negative. So the way the correlation basically means that when the euro strengthens, that tends to be more strongly correlated with the European stock market than the Russian stock market. Going up, that is. If we do have the daily data points here, we have a minus 80% negative with the S&P 500. Minus 33% with the European stock market ETF, and a whopping minus 96% negative with the Russia stock market ETF. So there's a very clear link here between Forex and stock markets. And then minus 75% with the dollar index. When we compare the seasonality, so we do not get the seasonality between the euro and the Russian ruble, but I am able to get the seasonality between the VGK, which is the European stock market ETF, and the RSX, which is the Russia stock market ETF. So this is the percentage of months in which the European stock market outperforms the Russian stock market. So over the last 5 years, December tends to be weak for the European stock market vis-a-vis the Russian stock market, but November tends to be strong. Over the last 10 years, November tends to be strong. December is very weak. Over the last 15 years, November is one of the stronger months, then December is weak, then January is strong-ish. That is obviously relevant for this currency pair. So to sum up my take here, we do have the time cycle, and we have the extreme low readings here on the technicals, and you also have this head and shoulders pattern, potentially in development. We only have the left shoulder and the big head so far, so this is all about, projecting future developments. But that is what, investing is all about. There's no point in being, just commenting about, what has happened. It's all about, trying to project future developments. And the more interesting thing to project here would be the formation of a right shoulder. That means we would expect the euro to strengthen vis-a-vis the Russian ruble. However, this is only a temporary, move, because the right shoulder would then have that declining part as well, which would be the euro weakening vis-a-vis the Russian ruble. So yeah, very interesting setup here for this pair, and we did see some very interesting correlations between the different between this pair and different stock markets. And you also have the VGK RSX seasonality as well that corroborates the thesis. Whatever you do, of course, you want to let the trend be your friend and always have stops in place.